how to get the perfect night's sleep with this 25-point checklist. Welcome to the Awesome Human Podcast, your path to total human optimization. Ready to unleash your 100%? Let's go. Hey, welcome back to the Awesome Human Podcast, and wow, do I have a show for you today in terms of practical, actionable, implementable information all around sleep, which is the elixir of our health. And when you look at it statistically, a lot of people struggle with sleep, and there's a lot at play. I get it. There is lifestyle stress, there is kids, there is work, there is the busyness of our brain, there are people with conditions, there are people with ADHD. Like, there's just so much that can disrupt us from getting a great night's sleep. But we cannot avoid the fact that when you get incredible sleep consistently, incredible things happen. And that's what I want to try and do today. I want you to try and get at least more incredible sleep. Like, I've had young kids for quite a while now. It's 4.5 years. And we probably over the last year have experienced some of the best sleep that we've had in a while. And it's still pretty disrupted. And the way that we feel as parents is so much better. We're more present with our children, we're more fun, we feel better, we've got the energy to exercise, like everything. And the reason I highlight this is sometimes you do not know how good, how well you can perform, how awesome you can feel until you get it, until something happens, till you experience it. It's like, another example I could give you is, let's say you've got a food intolerance, and most of the time you're a bit tired, a bit bloated, a bit lethargic, and I do a little bit of work with you and I say, hey, how about we cut out this food or that food? It seems like it's a problem, and you cut it out and you're like, wow, I didn't know how good I could feel. I didn't know I could live without being bloated, without feeling tired, without these symptoms. So if we can get to that place where we're getting a bit deeper sleep, we're getting more rest, we're able to throw ourselves more into our day, then amazing, because sleep affects everything. I really want to drive this home. Your day-long focus, your day-long happiness, how much motivation you have, how fun you are with your kids, your wife, your husband, your partner, how much kind of vision you have for your life. It all is underpinned by sleep. And the problem is it's very easy to get caught in a bit of a rut. You get a bit of bad night's sleep, and then you get drawn more by caffeine, and then you're feeling a bit tired and you're frustrated on the evening, and you have a glass of wine, to wind down. It makes you feel better, but then it's temporary. Then you get another bad night's sleep, and you can just get caught in this cycle. And I want to try and move you towards a place of more purity of your natural circadian rhythm. That's what we're trying to optimize. We're trying to get amazing sleep when you need to get sleep, and then feel great during the day, and then set yourself up again for another great night's sleep. And it does take discipline where possible. I know I've said this show, how to get the perfect night's sleep. Now, this is how to do it. We might not necessarily be able to always do it. And I know that, and I accept that. And I think acceptance when you don't get it is very important, because otherwise you can feel a bit frustrated. Oh, I should change this, I should do that. And you've just got to accept. You've got to be at a place where you're like, okay, didn't get the best night's sleep last night, but it's cool. I'll try and do what I can tonight. I'll, hedge my bets, put the odds in my favor. And that's what I say to parents. Like, so often when you talk about sleep, parents will say, oh yeah, but kids. And I'm like, yep, I've got kids too, but we have to stack the odds in our favor. You don't relinquish kind of like, well, I've got kids, so I'm always going to sleep bad. Well, you might still be able to sleep better. And the number one thing we have to do is prioritize our sleep. So let me go through this 25-point checklist on how we can try and get the perfect night's sleep, or at least better sleep. And if we can do it consistently over time, I promise you will feel the benefits. So number one is prioritizing it. You have to prioritize it. We have to respect it. We have to see value. We have to sort of say to ourselves, I'm going to try and go to bed at X time. And the only thing that gets in the way of that is something happening with like family or, whatever. Like, I'm someone that turns off the telly at 9:15. I go and have a shower. I go and do what I need to do. I'm in bed by 9:45 and I try to be asleep by 10. And you have that routine. You commit to that routine because you see the value. And with that, we have to definitely work back from the time that we get up. Like, you might have to get up by an alarm, which a lot of people do. If that alarm's going to go off at 6 and you want 8 hours of sleep per night, you probably need to be asleep by 10. You probably need to be asleep, if possible, even earlier, because while we might be asleep for 8 hours, I don't know if you listening to this have a sleep tracker. I do. I have an Oura Ring. I love it. You wake up during the night. And as parents, you often wake up in the night. Like, I'm often up for half an hour in the night. So if I want 8 hours, I actually have to be in bed for like 9.5 hours. And I make that commitment because I see the value. I can't get into bed at 10 and think, right, let's try and get 8 hours sleep and hope that all the stars align and I don't get woken up and X doesn't happen. We can't do that. We have to stack the odds in our favor. Otherwise, we're kind of leaving a lot up to chance, and we don't want to leave things up to chance. Really important. So you have to prioritize sleep. Like, I'm a bit more of the kind of sleep Viking. I don't know what the word is. I'll use the word Viking. I was going to use a word that's probably not politically correct anymore. In the household, I'm like, right, come on, let's turn off the telly, let's get up to bed. But my wife appreciates that because my wife will gently kind of like, oh, well, we're not quite finished this TV program yet. Let's just watch the end. I'm like, no. We never know what's going to happen in the night with our kids. Let's get to bed, hedge the bets in our favour. And my wife's always one that can sleep for England. So she'll always lap up the extra sleep. And to be honest, I quite like the mornings. Like, I'm a morning person. If I can get up before the kids and have a bit of me time, like, perfect. Like, that's really good. I actually value the time in the morning probably more than I do the time in the evening, because all we're doing is watching telly anyway. So number one, you've got to prioritise your sleep. Number 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 is wrapped up in the 8-3-1 mindset. So 8 hours, 3 hours, 1 hour. So 8 hours before bed, we want to stop consuming caffeine. Caffeine roughly has a half-life of around 6 hours, but I find people experience even more benefit when they get the last caffeine ingestion 8 hours before sleep, because you might be a slow metabolizer of caffeine. So even though 6 hours has elapsed, which is the average time of the half-life of caffeine in your blood, there's still a fair amount kicking around. I personally, I don't have caffeine anymore. I find life is better without it. I don't chase the feeling. My energy is more consistent. I'm not saying you should do that. Maybe it's something you might try, but definitely get caffeine 8 hours, minimum 6 hours before bed. Of course, try things out. You might be a fast metabolizer. You might be a non-responder. All of these things exist. So that's 8 hours. Then 3 hours before bed, ideally have your last meal. 2 hours at a stretch, like, the chances are the closer you eat before bed, the more you're going to disrupt sleep, because the blood is focused on being in the digestive system, digesting food, rather than circulating through other tissues, and especially the brain, and regenerating and restoring and using the nutrients to regenerate rather than digest. If you do have to eat later, the rule of thumb is try and eat lighter. So focus on, for example, a great example would be having like a vegan meal where the protein's usually lighter. There's usually a lot more fruits and vegetables and grains in the meal. What you don't want to have if you're eating late is heavy proteins, steak, lamb, eggs. Like, if you're going to eat an hour and a half before bed, a great thing to have would be like a bowl of like chopped up fruit with a little bit of yogurt, just a few, seeds on it, like just nothing too heavy, like a big salad, roasted vegetables with like couscous, just nothing heavy. If you were going to go out for a meal, I know the desire is probably to eat whatever you want, but again, if you really value sleep, you might say, oh, I'll tell you what, I'll have the vegan option. I'm just telling you from purely a scientific perspective on how food can influence our sleep. So food. Next one is alcohol. Really, if you want a great night's sleep, do not drink alcohol. It is a very potent sleep disruptor. Yes, it will help you fall asleep faster, but it will disrupt the quality of your sleep. But again, if you are going to consume it, try if you can to have it 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. Drink plenty of water to flush that out. Then 1 to sometimes 2 hours before bed, reduce the amount of fluids, so you're reducing the chances of you waking up in the night for a pee. Also, 1 hour before bed is stimulation. You need to start to wind the brain down. Some people are better at this than others. Some people can watch TV right up until bedtime and still get to sleep and have a great night's sleep. That's fine, but a lot of us can't. I can't. I have to give it at least half an hour. I don't need to leave it an hour, about half an hour for me. Turn off the telly, go upstairs, kind of read my book, chill out and stuff. And I'm absolutely fine with that. Ultimately, we've just got to find something that works for all of us. Like, all of these rules are wrapped up in plenty of scientific evidence, but we've got to try things. We are all human, we are all unique, and we all need to find our own way with this. So that's checklist up to number 7 so far. Vegan meal was one of my points. Number 8, avoid foods you are intolerant to. So if you're intolerant to wheat, eggs, dairy, whatever, and you have that for dinner, your blood pressure will rise, your heart rate will rise, the level of inflammation will rise in your body. That is not conducive to a good night's sleep. I can show you proof on my Oura Ring. For example, now and again I have tomatoes and I'm intolerant to tomatoes. And I can see on my Oura Ring, my stress status in the ring will spike. My heart rate will be elevated. I can literally feel it. I'll start to get like a mild tensiony migraine headache through the back of my head. That's not going to be conducive to a good night's sleep. That is inflammation in your body. Your body is now having to work to fight and suppress that inflammation when all it wants to do is be calm, rest, and have to think about regenerating the brain, the nervous system, and all the other beautiful restorative things that it does in your sleep. So you should be avoiding those foods anyway if you want optimal health, but especially before bed. Number 9, dimming the lights in the evening. Blue light is very stimulatory to the brain. So we want to make sure we've got like little lamps on, like you don't want the main lights on. Make sure you've downloaded f.lux onto your computer if you're working a little bit late. I would always recommend any work that you're doing, finish it at least an hour before bedtime. Like, always respect that 1 hour before bed as a general rule. Let your brain let go of the day. Like, if you try and work right up to bedtime, I would argue your brain is probably going to really struggle to just let go of what it was thinking of what it was having to problem solve, and really get into a good frame of mind. That's not ideal for all of us all the time, but try where possible to do that. You might want to buy some blue blocking glasses if that's not possible for you. I wear a pair at bedtime when I read, even though I've got a very dim light, and I do find it makes me a bit sleepier, a bit quicker. Not essential, might be something you try. They're not too pricey, and I know a lot of people like them, so I'll just leave that one there for you. Excuse me, got a little froggy in my throat. I think this is point number 10. Try to make bedtime consistent. You want to get that rhythm as much as possible. We are beasts that are driven by our hormones in a lot of ways, and our hormones love to have this beautiful 24-hour cycle. So if you can always try and be wrapped up in bed 10 o'clock, whatever that time is, your sleep hormones will thank you for it. You know, if you're someone that goes to bed at midnight and I say, right, we should probably go to bed a bit earlier, and you try to go to bed at 10 o'clock, you'll really struggle to get to sleep because your hormones are not geared up for it. So if you do currently go to bed at midnight and you know you should be going to bed at 10, don't try and get into bed at 10 o'clock the first night, slowly work your way backwards. 10:45, maybe go 11:45, like 11:30, and just like slowly nudge it back 10 or 15 minutes over the course of like 10 days, and you'll have a lot more success because your hormones will slowly be able to adapt to this new circadian rhythm that you're trying to get it geared up for. And again, coming back to that window, if you want 8 hours of sleep a night, work back from your rough sleep time. I'm in the unique position, and I've wanted to build my life this way for a while, where I don't usually have a wake up time. It's pretty rare that I have to get up via an alarm. So I get up naturally. I wake up naturally anywhere from like 4:40 to 6 a.m, depending on just my body, wake ups in the night, etc. But many people do wake up with an alarm, but I still try and go to bed at the same time each night. I still try and keep that rhythm because my body is not very good at taking extra sleep. Like if I go to bed late, my body won't be like, oh, cool, he's gone to bed late, let's help him sleep another hour and a half and lay in. He won't do that, which is annoying. So I have to make sure that I really stick to a consistent sleep schedule. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Next point. Bedroom temperature ideally wants to be between 15 and 19. You can get a thermometer in your room, see what your bedroom's like. You might have limited access to changing the temperature. If not, you can have a fan. You can get aircon units. You can open the windows. We open the windows at night. Sometimes we have a fan. We make sure there's a real draft. So some curtains and blinds that like block out the light can be very good at trapping airflow, so you don't get really nice cooling airflow. And you'll find that especially if there's two of you sleeping in the bed, you got the door closed and you got a blind up, you might not be getting enough circulating cool air. So it might be that you have a little bit of a gap in the blind to actually let the air come in, because otherwise you'll heat up quite a bit, and come midnight, 2 a.m, you might find that you're actually quite hot. Choose nice breathable bedding, sleepwear, like you don't want to get too hot basically, so make sure you're really nice and comfortable. Use fans or cooling devices, ventilate the room, we've talked about that. You can buy very expensive temperature control mattresses. If you have the money to do it, then great. Dark room is essential. Light is very disruptive to sleep, so remove anything with a light source, even a TV with a red dot in it. I would really argue and propose that you don't have TVs in the bedroom. Make the bedroom about sleep and having sex and getting dressed and change. That's it. That's what a bedroom's ultimately for. And I think that mindset can be very positive, because otherwise I think it's very easy to slip into habits where you're like, we'll just go up to bed, we'll put a film on, we'll watch the film a bit too late, and it just creeps into kind of more digital TV time. That's my personal opinion, and I've seen that work successfully with a lot of clients that I've coached over the years. Depending on noises and where you live, you might want to look at earplugs, you might want an eye mask, depending if there is light that is going to come in. Ideally try and get that out. Comfortable bed, comfortable pillows, it's a real investment. I know mattresses can be expensive. Our mattress is nearly like $2,000. But it's beautiful. We sleep amazingly. I think the last time we changed it was like about 8 years ago. So $2,000 for 8 years worth of kind of use. Probably pretty good, to be honest. So now let's come to getting to sleep. This could be a problem area for a lot of people. So you're in bed, now you want to get to sleep. Some people can just put their head on the pillow, boom, they're gone, like awesome. Many people cannot for whatever reasons. And there's lots of different techniques. You want to try these different techniques. Over the years, I've tried lots of different things. I've tried meditation, I've tried breath work, I've tried guided meditations, and they've all slowly helped me get to the point where I can very easily let go of the day. And that's a really key thing. A lot of people are in bed thinking about their day because they can't let go of it. And they have fears and anxieties. They're thinking about work. They're thinking about loved ones. Like whatever that stress is, it's there. So in the early days of me optimizing my sleep, I do quite a lot of proactive things like meditation, breath work, etc. And they were helpful, but where I really kind of feel like I've completed it in terms of being great at sleep now is I've worked through all my fears. I've got rid of my anxieties. So when I get in bed now, I'll usually have a couple of minutes to myself where I'll just put my hands on my heart, kind of just really connect with myself, just be mindful, kind of also just do almost like a body check-in, like how am I? Like, maybe talk to myself that, right, now going into sleep, really want a great night's sleep, it's time to be calm. And then I usually read from anywhere from 2 to 20 minutes. It's not usually longer than 20 minutes, that's very rare. Average, I'll read for about 5 minutes and then I'll be tired and then I'll just go to sleep. But a big part of getting to that point was trying these different techniques, seeing what worked, and over time, especially over the last 2 years, I've really worked to get rid of any fears that I have and any anxieties. And there've been plenty. I actually used to be someone that operated through fear in a big way, which I'll talk about in a future podcast. But it's really important to get rid of those if you want an awesome night's sleep. It's not easy. You'll have to work with someone, you'll have to do, journaling, meditation, you'll have to explore yourself and where those fears come from. They're quite often, from childhood and stuff. So it's not easy, but it is a journey well worth traveling, because otherwise you're always using these techniques to paper over fears that are there in your life. And I will speak from first-hand experience. Operating your life through fear is not a great place to be. It's beautiful when you can approach your life through love for life, love for yourself, love for the experience of life, rather than acting through fear of not being good enough, fear of being, living up to your parents' expectations. That's not a good place to be. So if you can get to a place where you can operate through love, I guarantee you, I promise you from everything I've experienced, it's a beautiful place to be. But there are these tools to use: reading, breath work, practicing gratitude or writing a gratitude log, practicing mindfulness, journaling, listening to calming music or white noise, talk to your partner, maybe rub each other. So sometimes I'll rub my wife's hand and forearm. She finds that really relaxing, gets her off to sleep really quickly. If she wakes up in the night and we both wake up, I'll quite often do that again, and it will help her to get back to sleep. If you are going to have sex, some people can have sex and go to sleep very quickly. Some people find it quite stimulatory in terms of waking you up, so maybe have sex half an hour, whatever, before bed. And then guided meditation. All of these are things that you've got to experiment with and see where you lie. Now, you're asleep. What if you wake up in the night? Now, if you wake up in the night, my personal strategy is, if I'm really hungry, I'll go and grab a banana, eat the banana, go for a pee, get back into bed, and then I will read something either boring on my phone or Stoic philosophy. Now, if I don't read something, it will take me anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes to get back to sleep, quite often. If I read something, I can usually get back to sleep within 10 to 20 minutes. So yes, reading for 5 to 10 minutes is kind of time, but it would take me longer. So it pays for me to just go, right, cool, I'll go for a wee, and sometimes I don't need to. Sometimes I wake up periodically and I'm like, whatever, go back to sleep. But if I feel I've been woken up properly, by my kids or by the dog barking or something significant, and I'm quite alert, then I need a strategy to get myself back to sleep. If it's just been a really mild wake up, like my wife's kicked me in the sleep or I've just, whatever, then I'll usually just be able to turn over and go back to sleep again. So have your technique, because if you're lying awake, staring at the ceiling, mind's whirring, we want to quieten the mind as quickly as possible and get back to sleep. Now, when you wake up in the morning, if you can get sunlight into your eyes as quickly as possible within the first 15 to 30 minutes, research shows that is beneficial to your overall circadian rhythm. The stimulation of cortisol, which is a positive thing, it's not a negative thing, it's positive in the morning, then you are going to get into a more positive rhythm and you're going to feel more alert. After that, you want to be thinking about hydration, like getting a good pint of water on board. If you just drink tap water, then you want to have some electrolytes in there, so you can have a little bit of salt. If you have enough salt in it that you can taste it, you've put too much in it. Or you can use powdered electrolytes like Awesome Hydrate. But it's very important to have electrolytes, especially in your morning glass of water. Now, if you do need to nap during the day because you've not got a good enough night's sleep, ideally want to nap for about 20 to 30 minutes. If you do need a lot of sleep, try and sleep for about an hour and a half. That kind of 40 to 120 minutes is a bit of a danger zone in that you're likely to wake up and feel quite groggy, quite unrested because you've woken up when your body was in quite a deep phase of sleep. So have a little short 20 to 30 minute nap, or go for a big 90 minutes, and then your body should have gone through one full complete cycle and you should be able to hopefully wake up quite refreshed. Now, when you're trying to change your sleep behavior, it can be really positive to track your sleep if you can. I'm a huge proponent of this Oura Ring. I don't have any anxiety attached to it. I know some people can't track certain things because they have anxiety around it. I would argue that you need to deal with that rather than blame the kind of the tool that you're using, ideally, because again, living a life through fears or anxieties is not positive for the whole of your life, the whole of your well-being. But with my Oura Ring, I've been able to see how exercise affects my sleep, how food I eat affects my stress and my sleep, the timing, alcohol, how late I eat, like all these tiny little things I've been able to over time dial in. And it's been a really enjoyable process because I've been able to slowly find this like routine that sets me up for the best night possible. Big thing for me was I used to eat quite late and I used to eat quite big, and I used to always wake up like not that refreshed. And I used to have a huge, really strong cup of coffee. This is pre-COVID. And now I don't even need that. Like I just don't need it. Like I wake up feeling really refreshed because I've dialed in my evening meal. And I actually eat now about 4 to 4.5 hours before sleep. I eat with the kids around 5:30. And then it's very rare I eat close to bed. If I do, it's something very light, like just usually a bit of fruit, like something very light, very digestible. So I'm a huge fan of a sleep tracker. Oura has had a report done on it recently that showed its sleep data is the best currently on the market compared to all of the sleep devices, Whoop, Ultrahuman, Apple, etc. So up to you. I'm a big fan of using tech to dial you in. And then lastly, I will shamelessly plug it's something I'm very proud of because it seems to be that effective. Now, we can do, and this is the same with like talking about creatine with gym training, we can do everything right with getting the perfect night's sleep, but there might still be mileage. And what I mean by that is sleep supplements have been shown to improve sleep depth, sleep duration, and reduce the time it takes to fall asleep. And if you wake up in the night, how quickly it takes you to fall back to sleep again. And I've just brought out, as part of Awesome Supplements' range, Awesome Sleep. And I'm very proud of this product because I used a test group of people. I took 17 very close people to me and a handful of ambassadors of the brand. And I said, look, here's the product, test it out, track your data, tell me what you think. And literally everyone has said they have had improvements in sleep depth, sleep quality, sleep duration, or all of the above. And it's been absolutely brilliant. It's now on sale. We've nearly sold out of our pre-sale stock. We're trying to get it in a bit quicker because we've sold a bit more than we thought. And that's all because of the 8 ingredients that are in it have been shown by the research, and we've put it in the research dosed amount, which is a key benefit of why Awesome Supplements is better than a lot of other supplement companies out there. You've got magnesium in it, which has been shown to be very powerful, improving sleep depth. You've got glycine, which improves sleep quality and sleep efficiency. You've got tryptophan, which is a precursor to serotonin and melatonin, and it helps regulate your sleep pattern. We've got tart cherry powder, which significantly increases melatonin levels, so it increases sleep time and efficiency. We've got chamomile, which has been long praised for its calming properties and increasing sleep quality. You've got blue passion flower, which is there to reduce stress and anxiety. And then the powerful adaptogen that is ashwagandha at helping the body combat stress. And all of these 8 ingredients, the last one, inositol, which aids normal neurotransmitter function. These 8 ingredients have all been designed, put in this product, designed to get you an incredible night's sleep. So I usually sleep a good 6.5 hours unaided if I don't take anything. And the benefit I've personally found from taking this product, and as I have not slept longer, but my sleep depth is much, much better. And when I wake up in the night with the kids, I'm able to get back to sleep quicker, and I'm falling asleep even faster at night. But the perfect night's sleep is something that affects not getting enough sleep is something that affects all of us. So please follow this checklist, these 25 points. I know I didn't number it all today, but hopefully they're all in there for you. Maybe you need to go back through this podcast with a pen and a paper, and whether you get a great night's sleep or not, you might benefit from Awesome Sleep. It's an incredible product. I'm extremely proud of it. And I've been getting so many text messages of friends that are like, mate, this is a game-changing product. Can't believe what you've designed. It's so much better than Space Goods and HMN24 and other products that I've tried. There we go. The awesome human needs to be awesome through good sleep. So please prioritize sleep. Use these points. Maybe try out Awesome Sleep. And if you've got any questions, you know where I am on social media. And if you want all of this in written form, then go and download the Awesome Human Blueprint. See you on the next show.